So today we're going to talk once again all about printers, and we're talking today about my HP DesignJet T650. Now, some of you I know are saying, Steve, why do you have this plotter printer when in the other room you've got that brand new Canon Pro 4600, I've got the DaVinci, I had a P9000. Why would I want a printer like this? And it's because this printer does some things the other printers cannot do. The color palette in this printer is unique. It's literally one black, cyan, magenta, yellow. It's only 4 inks. But the black ink is pigment and the color inks are dye. And those of you that remember back in the early 2000s, 2004, 2005, 2006, dye inks give you a really huge color gamut. But the problem with dye inks is that they weren't light fast. They would fade rather quickly. Well, HP never gave up trying to work with dye, and their dye inks now are actually quite stable. You're talking, close to 100 years, which is really incredible. And when you mix it with the black ink, which is a pigment ink, you get a really interesting printer. I find that this printer produces a color palette that I can't get on the other printers because of that increased color gamut of the dye. I'm able to get deep blues and deep reds that on my P9000 would suffer from a hue angle shift, and deep blues would start going purple. So I use this printer here as a real alt process printer for myself in the studio. I run lots of handmade papers, hand-coated papers, all sorts of stuff through this machine. And the other machines in the other room, I try to save as much as possible for printing on the best of inkjet media, because that's what they do really well. This machine lets me do all sorts of crazy stuff to it. I've had it now for about 2.5 years, and I have run a lot of paper through this machine, and the head is kind of on the process of dying. I'm getting some lines that I can't get rid of. So just like the Canon printers, they use a thermal head as well. So I purchased a replacement thermal head for the DesignJet. It was $275, and it's a new head with a set of starter inks. So it's everything I need to do a switchover. It's not super hard to do. It walks you through the whole process, but I thought I would share with you how you switch ahead in this printer in case any of you have this. And also, if someone's out there watching this who is more of a alt process shooter, who wants to print on handmade papers, who's printing maybe on some of the papers by Awagami and stuff that are much more primitive coatings, this is actually a really great machine. And another thing I'll tell you about the DesignJets too, when you're in the 36-inch width, which is what this one here is, you'll notice on HP site or sites that sell it that it comes in different finishes. One's got brushed aluminum with a maple top. Understand that's just cosmetic. The inside of the machine, the actual head and components, there's no difference between any of the machines. They're all the same. And I think it's really an affordable system to get into. The one thing I will say though is you can't run super thick paper through it. Midweight paper to thinner is fine. And so let's go ahead now and change the head. So what we need to do is on the setup, it's all touchscreen on the front here. I need to scroll down to where it says printer maintenance. And I'm going to tap on that, and here you have all printhead information, and you can see it says replace printhead. The printer will start. We do this. It asks me to open the front door. You're going to hear the head move over. Here it comes. So here's the head moving right now. The ink cartridges plus the head. And what I'm going to do is you push on the cartridges and they pull out. All right, so here's your ink cartridges. Then I just hit next. And next what it tells me to do is inside of here, can you see here well enough? There's a little white lever back here. You see that lever back there? You lift up on that lever from the bottom. Put my hand in there, hold on. Okay. And then this whole thing, this whole cartridge here swings up and out. And this is your print head that you're replacing. You can see the base for your inker here. Here's the components, and here's the actual head. So this is the part that's going to be replaced. So in the box, it comes with new ink, and a new head. So I just opened this up. That's weird taping we have on this thing. And they're very specific about don't touch the heads and try not to get oils on any of this area right here. So that's the new ink head. All I do is come back down, line it back up, lift it in, and it'll pop in like that. And then I pull down that white lever that locks the head in place. And then I'm gonna start with a fresh set of new inks, which they give you with it. And that's one thing I also love about this printer. The inks are inexpensive. You're also only buying 4 inks. And I think it's a really great system. Now, as I said, I'm willing to do stupid stuff on this printer that I might hesitate to do on, that I would hesitate to do on a more expensive system for fear of just screwing it up. Okay, we got our magenta. Our cyan, and it won't let, if you do anything wrong, it won't let you, oops, like I just tried to put that in upside down, it won't let you go. Okay, next, I close the lid and shut it. It's saying checking printhead on here. Look where you can see. Now what the machine's gonna do is touch OK to cup, and it's gonna take up to 5 minutes. What it's gonna do is it's gonna prep and charge the ink into the system. And after doing that, it'll automatically do head alignments. It's all automatically done. And then you'll do a nozzle check. It'll print out a couple test images and we'll be up and running. It's a really simple fix. And it said, this was one of the main reasons that I invested in the Canon Pro graph in the other room, was that I can do something like this. Now those heads for that machine cost more money, but this is pretty awesome that I don't have to have an Epson service tech come out and fix this. I can do it myself. And if I just found myself another 2.5, another 3.5 years with this printer, that makes me really happy. Okay, so now it's initialized all the ink. Now it's going through and it's aligning the print head and making sure it's perfectly set. We'll go ahead and do that. It'll come out. Well, one thing with this printer is it's wicked fast, like really a fast printer. It's almost unnerving the first time you make a print, is it just goes shooting out the end. It doesn't like hold it the way like the Canons and Epson does. It throws the print across. I'll show you actually. We'll let it shoot. And who do I think this printer is good for? This printer is good if you're like a mixed media artist, if you're a collage artist, if you're printing like photographs and you're looking for like perfect photographic quality, this would not be the printer. But if you look at the work that we make, and if that's kind of like what you're interested in, once again, at evensteve.com, then this might be a good printer for you. And it also comes in a 24-inch width, which is really inexpensive as printers go. It's almost done. So as it's going back and forth, the little photo eye in there is looking at the target, much how the Canon does now and the new Epsons. Those of us that are old enough that remember having to look at test targets with a loop and trying to figure out the alignment manually, these new systems that do it automatically are really incredible. It just saves a lot of time in production. Ready to catch the first print as it comes flying out. And it has a manual feed tray, or a feed tray here that does up to 13x19. You can also manually feed sheets in, and it has a 36-inch roll on a 2-inch spindle on the inside. So there's 3 different ways to get paper into the printer. And that looks good to my eye. That's your target for aligning the heads. It's all been done now. And then it says, let me see for the best way to let me select this page, and we're done. That's all there is to it. Now I can get back to printing. images. So my first test image is coming out. This is just on some cheap Epson coated paper that I have. The print I'll be making in this later today is on hand-coated deconstructed paper bags, brown bags. And that's why I'm running that through this printer and not through my new Canon. So let's see how it looks.
I'm waiting for it to jump out.
It's gonna bite me. Smooth as pie. So here's our test image, made with a Minox camera. We just finished putting this together, and I can come into it. I don't see any banding or lines at all. It's, let me put the better light up here. Yeah, that was very successful. See, what do you think, Eve?
No banding?
No banding, all the lines are gone. Easy peasy repair. Now we'll go flatten some real paper and make some real prints. So thank you very much for listening. Once again, I will show some sample images at the end of this video of images that were made using this particular printer. You can also go to our website, evensteve.com. I'll put a link in the description, and you can just click on Polaroid stories. Every single image in that portfolio was printed on this printer. Thank you very much for listening. Now go shoot some film.